We did have a section on this show back in the day which was called What the Farage, but we've changed the name of it to Can You Believe It? I have presented this show under this guise before. So Can You Believe It? And it's to basically highlight some crazy stories going on in the news. Now, I must admit, sorry to blow my own trumpet, but I am at the centre of this row because those of you who are familiar with my Sunday morning GBNews show will know that I've made a habit of trying to find out from shadow ministers, so Labour ministers, what they will do in the event of their VAT plan for private schools backfiring in their faces. And up until yesterday, I asked, I think, 4 different shadow ministers to tell me what will happen to those private school pupils whose parents can no longer afford the fees. They'll obviously then remove them from private schools, put them into the state sector. There's a debate about how many children will be affected. The Institute for Fiscal Studies says it's 40,000. It could be 40,000 kids. Others are more conservative. But basically, there could be thousands of kids that need to be accommodated in already oversubscribed state schools. So I've repeatedly asked this question of all of these Labour MPs. What will you do? How will you accommodate them? Are you going to build temporary classrooms? What will happen? And I kept on getting batted away. No, it's just lobbying. It's scaremongering. This is never going to happen and all the rest of it, until I interviewed Shadow Attorney General Emily Thornberry on the show yesterday. This is what she had to say.
You know, and if we have to, in the short term, have larger classes, we have larger classes. You know,
so you will make classes larger to accommodate. So obviously I was quite shocked by that response. I was shocked to get a response. Oh, we've had a response to my question. Who'd have thought it? And then I was quite shocked because obviously the admission by Labour that they wouldn't mind class sizes being bigger, it's quite shocking, not least because Tony Blair campaigned in 1997 to keep classes in state schools below 30. Anyway, it's caused a bit of a ruckus among Labour, and this morning the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, quickly rode back on Thornberry's claims.
We've had the analysis by the IFS on this, which says that there'll be a negligible impact, so we're very confident about that.
Point of fact, Keir Starmer, I don't think up to 40,000 pupils leaving the private sector and going into state schools is a negligible amount. I mean, it might happen over the course of time. There's also other evidence to suggest, I mean, the organisation that represents school governors, for instance, has said they've seen a significant uplift in applications to state schools from private school pupils and their parents. So anyway, he said it was negligible. But where does all this come from, you might ask yourselves? Is it some sort of well thought out Labour policy, or is it the politics of envy? Well, while Labour was insisting their tax plan won't have a significant impact on class sizes, footage unearthed by the political news site Guido Fawkes reveals that Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, would you believe, wanted to go even further. This is what she said in 2018.
We are not all the same, and we should be celebrated for the people we are. We will end the marketisation and privatisation of our education.
Now, you might spot in that footage, I think, is Rachel Reeves, the woman wanting to be the next Chancellor. So this is what we have. We have a Labour policy which, I mean, to all intents and purposes, makes some sense, right? You know, maybe it's wrong that private schools get this VAT tax break at the expense of state schools that are constantly needing more funding. And in their case, Labour have pledged to recruit 6,500 more teachers for the state sector. They've also announced today, by the way, a scheme to serve breakfast to all kids in state schools. So it's all honourable aims, but my question still remains. It works only if it isn't self-defeating. I think they think that this is a policy that only affects the parents of private school pupils, but it doesn't, does it? If there's the admission that state school classrooms are going to become more overcrowded as a result of this policy, which is why I'm saying tonight on the Labour VAT plan to add to private school fee bills, can you believe it? Doesn't seem to me to properly stack up.